Thanks for joining us on Emerald Downs Weekly right here on NBC Sports Northwest. Joe Withey, Gary Doherty, and Phil Ziegler. Lots of stuff happening at Emerald Downs. We have 4 weekends in the books, a big weekend upcoming, and the season is just full of special events. Fellas, Gary, you're the promotions manager, and you are going to have a busy weekend.
That's right, Joe. Starting off on Friday night, we've got a horseshoe toss for $1,000. We'll have some live music between the races from the Kennydales, a band from Renton. Off to Saturday, we got a big pancake feed in the morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Right, Phil?
Yep.
Come out and enjoy some pancakes. And also, over the weekend, we'll have ostrich, camel, and zebra racing on Sunday. All the animals will be here on track on the south end track level on Saturday.
That is great, and there we saw a little bit of the Saturday morning activity. Preakness pancakes are tradition here at Emerald Downs. Phil, just so much in store this week. Comment on Friday night, first of all, our opening Friday, May 11th, passed. That was a really good kickoff to Fab Fridays.
It was fun, and the animals are coming this weekend. We got Preakness pancakes. Friday night was great with the big crowd for the T-shirt giveaway. So a lot happening here at Emerald Downs, and if you miss a day, you're going to miss something because we have something going on every single race day. And the Preakness pancakes, it's all free. So you get a free breakfast from 9 to 11. Tom Harris is hosting that. There's interviews with a jockey, a trainer. There's you get a free program. You get free admission for the races for the day.
Bacon. Don't forget the bacon.
And
Yeah,
bacon. Gary's not going to miss
that
that. You know, before you worked here, Gary, you never missed that event. You were at it every year.
Well, that's the thing. Employees really weren't allowed until Gary started working here, and then all went to heck.
Changed the rules.
Change the rules just a
right.
little bit.
And then there's a stable tour at 11 a.m., and then you could stick around for live racing at 2. And we have other things going on. I mean, the Preakness simulcast, we're going to talk about that. There's the Clydesdales are here. We're going to talk about that. The Hawk Fest is going on in the park. This is all just on Saturday, and then the exotic animals on Sunday. So busy weekend.
Too much to keep in order, actually. I mean, there is so much going on at Emerald Downs. Also, our first stakes race, we'll be talking about that, the Seattle Stakes on Sunday as well. But the exotic animals, I think if you had to rate all the events this weekend, that is number one. That was just a fantastic day last year as we saw Matt Dinnerman on a camel, and Rocco Bowen won the camel race. Jose Zanino won the ostrich race, but we're not stopping with just camels and ostriches this year, Gary.
No, we're bringing 4 zebras, and I talked to Rocco this past week. I said, Rocco, what do you want to ride? He says, Gary, I want to ride them all.
Really?
So Rocco is riding a zebra, a camel, and an ostrich, and there's a rumor out there that one of our big shot owners, John Parker, is thinking about riding the camel.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be something this weekend, Phil?
Oh, no. And we should mention that, you know, people don't understand when we publicize this. It's not like we found these animals. These come from a family-owned business in Kansas, and you could come out all weekend. The animals will be on display Saturday and Sunday on the south end of the grandstand. You can come and learn about these animals. It's actually a pretty educational experience if you bring the kids, and the race is kind of fun. They go out there, and everybody laughs and has a good time, but it's wonderful to see these animals and learn something about them as well over the weekend.
It's already a zoo-like atmosphere.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
At Emerald Downs, but with the horses, families love to come out, and now we're really stepping it up a notch. Camels, zebras, and ostriches racing on the track this Sunday. First race at 2 p.m., both Saturday and Sunday. And backtracking to Fab Friday nights, those start at 6:30. We gave away a lot of T-shirts last Friday. Of course, those are good for free admission the rest of the season. And you can buy one of those T-shirts at the gift horse for the entry fee price of $9, and then you're good for entrance the rest of the season. So just a ton of things going on at Emerald Downs this weekend, and we're not far from more special events as well. But Preakness pancakes, we talked about it a little bit, but it is 9 to 11. Enter through the paddock gate. That is free entry right north of the big grandstand building. The paddock gate will be open. Tom Harris, our track announcer, is hosting the show. Preakness pancakes and bacon.
Yep.
Juice and coffee. And couple of Tom's guests are going to be jockey Austin Solis and trainer Heath Lawrence. So we'll get some racing information from those fellas as well. Always an informative show. Rain or shine, Preakness Pancakes kicking off Preakness Saturday here at Emerald Downs. Another highlight, you mentioned it, Phil, the Budweiser Clydesdales are going to be here on Saturday on track.
I know, and they're here actually all week, and I think you got a chance to go out and talk to them earlier in the week and visit with them.
Todd Radermaker, who was one of the handlers, he's been with Budweiser and part of the Clydesdale team for a long time. In fact, he said he was here in 1996 when the track first opened. And Todd, we caught up with him at Emerald Downs in preparation for the Clydesdales.
Traveling squad is 10 horses. We'll travel with 10 horses and a dog. And in order to do that, it takes the 3 tractor trailers and a support van. There's a crew of 7 of us that travel around, and we travel about 330 to 340 days a year doing different events around the country. The average stop's about a week. We usually get in on a Monday or Tuesday, and then the next day is usually their day to get all gussied up. They get a bath, get all shaved up and everything, and then we'll show for 4 or 5 days in town and then head to the next one. So on average, we probably do about 50 to 55 towns a year. The horses we're traveling with right now average anywhere from 5 to 11 years old. And one of the biggest things is what we're looking for is their markings. If you'll notice, his white blaze on his face, his white legs, the more solid bay body, and the darker mane and tail. The horses we have with us here range anywhere from 18 to 19 hands and about 1,800 to about 2,200 pounds. The horses started April 7th, 1933. That's the day Prohibition ended, and the horses actually delivered a case of beer to the governor of New York and then went down to the White House and delivered a case of beer to the White House there. So we've been on the road ever since that day and time.
On the road since April 7th, 1933, and who doesn't love the Clydesdales? They are a great addition.
I have to answer the question. Yes, the dog is with them. Okay. April the Dalmatian is here to lead them on Saturday as well.
Yeah, the Budweiser Clydesdales on the track at Emerald Downs this Saturday, part of a great weekend here at the track. And we'll be back with more here on Emerald Downs Weekly.
Is that true? Do you get 2 buds for the price of 1?
That made you thirsty, right, Jerry?
You got to quit drinking on the job.
Bud Light or Bud? I can do a Bud this weekend. Or 2.
Emerald Downs Weekly right here on NBC Sports Northwest, talking Emerald Downs Racing. And we're going to take a little look back at last week, a very eventful first 3-day week of the meeting starting Friday night. And we had a carryover going in that 20-cent jackpot pick 7 wager into Friday night. And after the second race, it looked a little tougher to hit that thing because Seattle Smoke won at 11-1, first start of the season. The Ross horses, Sharon and Larry Ross, of which Seattle Smoke is from that barn, they've been running very well, fresh. And here goes Seattle Smoke onto a big victory at 11-1.
Yeah, 11-1. That was the second leg of the pick 7,
Yep.
and that took out a lot of tickets for that race for 11-1 shot winning. The other Ross horse was around even money. So with that result, we got a chance. Maybe there might be somebody out there that could be unique, right, Phil?
Yeah, you're going to see how this plays out because this was exciting in the final leg.
Well, that was the Left Coast Stable who owned Seattle Smoke, and still do, by the way. Jim Engstrom is the name from the Left Coast Stable, and Jim Engstrom had a heck of a ticket going. And here's the finale on Friday night. Trelawney on the outside, Royal Tail on the inside. Trelawney's going to win this one.
Yeah, and he's alive to Trelawney and not alive to the other one. Look at that.
That's called a tie. We also use the term dead heat in horse racing. And Jim Engstrom's ticket, as you just mentioned, had just Trelawney.
Well, it had the 3 and the 8, but didn't have the 4, as you
Right,
can see in the
didn't
last leg. He was looking at everybody. He says he almost had a heart attack when I talked to him afterwards.
Yes.
And nobody knew, well, what does this do? But he still, since nobody had the other horse, he still wound up with the only winning ticket, and it's worth over $16,000.
There is Jim Engstrom.
Fantastic.
Congratulations to him. $16,000 in the 20-cent jackpot pick 7 wager at Emerald Downs, the first winner of the season. And yeah, so what had to happen is Trelawney needed not to give up his lead that he was trying to do there in the final 20 yards.
The next step, I think the other horse had the lead.
Sure.
And, we have a new tax law where it's 300 to 1 on all your money on your ticket. So that 16,000 large is tax-free.
Yeah, because he bet $57.
Exactly.
So he would have needed just underneath the threshold on that. So
Yep. That's
Hey,
a great
congratulations.
story.
He also had the pick 4, I think, twice.
Yeah,
so he won another $1,000 or so on that.
He had a very good night.
Jim started
Very
in the
good
Emerald
night.
Racing Club several years ago and has purchased horses since then. Of course, he's owner of Seattle Smoke now. So what a great Friday, Fab Friday for Jim Engstrom. I wonder if he got his T-shirt that night. Yeah, I think he probably did.
He could buy a few extras, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So that was the big payoff of the week, the $16,000.
So was he owner of the week or the better of the week?
Yeah, well,
Both.
Both,
you know what?
yes.
Are we going to do that? Better of the week?
Well, I think he's just won it for the year. Yeah.
We don't have that one yet, but who knows? We might add that. We like recognizing our people, and Jim Engstrom, owner of the week. Trainer of the week went to the trainer of a horse that's 2 for 2 at the meeting now. Yes, Bet the Harbor stepped up in class after his first win, and look at this one. The Son of Harbor the Gold pulls away to win by nearly 5 lengths with Jose Zanino aboard for trainer of the week, Mary Perrone.
There's Gary
Yeah.
standing there.
And there is Jose Zanino and Mary Perrone there in the middle with the sunglasses on. And she's 2 for 2 at the meet, Gary.
Yeah, and that's of all the horses that she ever trained, this horse has made over 60,000, which is the most of any thoroughbred that she's had win. And the Trifecta King that they used her on top, but I couldn't get the horse to run second. I used five of the 6 in the race, but I got to use the all button for second, Joe, once in a while, the all button. So that was a costly trifecta against Hot Bobby, about 16 to 1 off a long layoff. A route horse finished second sprinting, so I got to sharpen my skills, Phil. I got to
Route
get
horse
back to some
sprinting
winners.
fresh, the Victor Predictor
Yeah, that's
angle
True.
Yes.
from many years.
And that's another reason to come to the track to buy the program and see Gary's Trifecta King pick in the program every day.
Glad I don't have to pay for it. Okay, Sunday, well, let's feature our jockey of the week now.
Not nice.
And Sunday's 8th race, and here we are coming down the stretch. Esjuan Flores comes on, hit the beach, is going to beat Oh Marvelous Me here. Great seasonal debut for Hit the Beach, the Pat Mullins trainee. Was a 3rd favorite in the wagering, and Esjuan had a really good week. So he is our jockey of the week.
He won 4 races, and he was part of that dead heat that Jim liked.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right, on Royal Tail. Esjuan, his first full season at Emerald Downs last year. As you can see, he's tied for second in the standings, along with Gary Wales and Kevin Orozco. Rocco Bowen, none of us were quite willing to go against Rocco for top jockey this year. I
was.
think. Were you?
Well, yeah.
But you
I picked someone who's not even
but you
on
change,
the list.
You change picks.
I can change my mind, yes.
Yeah, you change, and then you get Wes to doctor the video
And
to make it sound like
I
you
actually
didn't.
picked Julian Catan, so we'll see what happens there.
Well, no, Julian Couton is going to have a great meet. We know that
He's been a little second on us right
Yeah.
now, but he'll get going.
so
And
far.
That's only because we've never all agreed on anything. So
Rocco's won at least 1 race on every race card, and that's what 7 days in now. 1, 2, 2, 3,
days.
8 days. I got to see what
Gary's
the
usually off
record
by
is.
1 on his counting, so just
Plus
keep
or
that in
minus
mind if
1.
you ever
But
get
it's
to
good for
know him.
government work, isn't it?
Sunday race number 3 was our feature of the week, and we had some of the best horses at the track. There's Mach 1 Rules on the rail. How about the big white face of Barkley beating
Wow.
Mach 1 Rules this time? As Mach 1 Rules had the edge last year, and he certainly wasn't quitting. So Lucky 3rd, Grinder Sparks Aglow 4th, 8 for 13 now in his career, all here at Emerald Downs. And, of course, regular rider is aboard, Javier Matias for Howard Belvoir, the Rising Star Stable. Those are the active stakes winners that are stabled here at Emerald Downs. Mach 1 Rules leads Barkley by 5. They figure to get together in the upcoming Governor's Stakes at 6.5 furlongs. Mike Man's Gold, Bella Mia figures to debut this Sunday in the Seattle Stakes. Citizen Kitty's already won at the meet. So Lucky, he probably benefited from that race.
Yep. I saw Roy Frazier and Frank Lucarelli after the race. They said, "You guys run good. Now the big money comes up here in a few weeks."
Okay.
Extra 30,000. They said, that's right, Gary. The $50,000 race is coming up here. The first stakes for older horses. So
What a rivalry it's been
Barkley's
between
back.
Yeah, Barkley and Mach 1 Rules. Boy, those two names are going to go together forever in Emerald Downs history. Barkley has the edge so far in 18. So, thanks for watching so far. Much more show to come here on Emerald Downs Weekly. Stay tuned. Got to pick the governors right now. You guys ready?
Barkley.
Mach 1 Rules.
Barkley.
I can't do it. Mickey Putter's not watching.
Emerald Downs Weekly, NBC Sports Northwest, Thursday nights at 11 p.m., Friday mornings at 9 a.m. And you can also catch replays of our show on YouTube. And, hey, it's time to talk Preakness. It's the second jewel in racing's Triple Crown. We've had one Triple Crown winner since 1978. Of course, that was American Pharoah a few years ago. Justify, the only horse eligible this year after his career is still in undefeated fashion, 4 for 4. We had to be impressed with his Kentucky Derby. Yeah, the track might have helped him being muddy and sloppy, but he's a pretty special racehorse so far, guys.
If he likes it muddy and sloppy, then he's going to like this race because the weather forecast is all rain all week and a lot of rain.
We're starting with Preakness Pancakes. Once again, remember, a free pancake breakfast at Emerald Downs, 9 to 11 a.m. and bacon. You're supposed to always come in with bacon when I say a free pancake breakfast.
Bacon.
Yeah, and there's also juice and coffee. Tom Harris is going to host the show. There's going to be a lot of racing information with guests Austin Solis and Heath Lawrence. Free to come in through the paddock gate just north of the big grandstand and follow the crowd up to the track apron area. 9 a.m. Preakness Pancakes, a tradition here at the track. Okay, well, Justify beat 19 horses in the Kentucky Derby. He doesn't have that many to beat. Is he going to go on and win the Preakness and make for a big Belmont Stakes Saturday, Phil?
We giving our picks right now?
Let's do it. Why not?
You know, I always thought growing up and watching the Triple Crown that the Kentucky Derby was an anomaly because there's so many horses. And the Belmont Stakes is an anomaly because it's a mile and a half and they never do that before or after. But I always thought the Preakness was a real horse race. That it was at a distance, at a track to where usually the field size isn't that large and the best horse wins. And although Justify has good chance as anybody, but I'm going to go back. I'm going to go off Justify this time.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Inside joke, if you've been watching the show. But I think Good Magic is going to turn the tables this time. He should have gone by him last time. I think he will go by him this time. He's going to win the Preakness.
Gary?
I concur. This race is a little shorter by 110 yards. And we got the Chad Brown, who won this race last year with Cloud Computing, trying to win the Preakness in back-to-back years. I think the shorter distance is huge, and also Justify has danced many times in 2018. This will be a 6th race this calendar year.
No,
so maybe
fifth.
You
said he's always off by one.
He's always off by one.
Yeah.
Just one. So maybe he'll regress this time in the slop. Now, I'm just wondering what's going to happen in the running of the outhouses in the infield this weekend. That's a big event there at the Preakness. Joe, have you seen that? Running on top of the outhouses?
I haven't. No, I think it's been obscured by the 130,000 total people there.
It's some great YouTube
Does NBC
video.
report on that?
Well, sometimes. They might nowadays.
Okay, who'd you pick in the Derby?
Saw a bird go flying by.
You were going to pick Good Magic, but you didn't.
No, I did get off. I made an audible. I picked audible.
That's right. You went with audible.
You know, he ran good third, and
solid race.
I got a lot of voicemails and emails to that pick.
Who's your pick, Joe?
Well, I'm going to go with Justify this time, as I was on Good Magic in the Derby, like Phil was, and he ran a heck of a race. But it could come up different ways. A horse that I think is going to improve a lot is Tenfold, a son of Curlin, who won the Preakness over Street Sense, trained by Steve Asmussen. Tenfold has 2 route victories in 3 career races. He lost in the Arkansas Derby, but he's been training up to this race. This might be a tougher spot than they need to go. But
go ahead, pick him. Do it.
I'd like
to. Exactly.
I'll have some money on him. I'll tell you that right now.
If you pick Justify, nobody's going to remember that. But
That's
if you
true.
pick Tenfold, then he wins.
I've learned that. You know, I should do it. Okay, tenfold. I'm switching
Pick 'em.
graphics, people.
Switch
They
it
hate me
right now.
right now, but
This is a late switch.
I'm going
Yes.
to go with tenfold.
Who's your
Number
jockey?
6.
Who's going to ride your...
Can't believe you
Tenfold
picked that
Ricardo Santana, who's 2 for 2 aboard the horse.
All right.
Okay,
tenfold.
so I'm going to go tenfold in the Preakness. How about some memorable Preakness races of all time? What comes to mind from you, Phil?
1973 Secretariat. Not only was this was memorable because obviously he wins the Triple
He's
Crown.
the one going fastest right there.
Yes.
Wow.
And obviously they make a movie about him and that, but the drama of this race played out for 39 plus years because the clockers from the Racing Forum had him breaking a track and I believe world record at the time, and it was in, believe it or not, 2012 that they finally went back with technology and reduced the time of the race down to where he then officially owned the track record at that distance. So that's a race that 39 years later, finally he got credit for running as fast as he did. I believe they changed the time to
154 flat?
152, I believe, or something
Whatever
like that.
he says, take off
Take
1/5
off
or
one. I
add
think you're
1/5.
off by one.
But,
Sham was second, so his time was a lot better, too.
Yes.
Well, how about it, though? Secretariat officially holds the record for the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont. I guess he was a pretty darn good horse. That would have been my pick for the first thought, too. I also thought the 1988 Preakness was pretty special because it was Secretariat's son, Risen Star, his best son, who had a horrible trip in the Kentucky Derby, was won by that horse on the rail there, winning colors, the filly. But look at Risen Star in the Preakness. He's going to pull away and be an easy winner. And he goes on to win the Belmont by about 7 lengths, his last career start. He won 8 of 11 lifetime. If he had a better trip in the Derby, you know, who knows? We might have had another Triple Crown winner. How about you, Gary?
1989, it was California against New York. Sunday Silence and Easy Goer. I'd bet Sunday Silence with Patrick Valenzuela, and this was one stirring stretch drive that ended up in a nose decision for the Bald Eagle, Charlie Whittingham, who trained Sunday Silence. Shug McGahee from the East Coast had the favorite, 3-5. They bet the horse down to 3-5. Easy Goer, who had lost to Sunday Silence in the Kentucky Derby. So Sunday Silence won the first 2 legs.
Paid about $8 that day. Pat
Yep.
Valenzuela aboard. I think it was it Pat Day on Easy Goer?
Yep, Pat Day on Easy Goer, and
That was a great race, yeah.
phenomenal. Last time the race, the Preakness has had a nose decision. You got to go back to 1989.
They ran together in the Belmont. Easy Goer won that one
Yeah.
easily, but Sunday Silence won the Breeders' Cup Classic
damn
at
New
Gulfstream. And so he beat him. Sunday Silence did 3 out of 4.
Where's
Okay.
the pizza, Gary?
Pizza.
Speaking of making picks, where's the pizza?
We're going.
12
we're thinking
days now.
Totino's Pizza. They have a Safeway's got
Totino's.
Gary,
Safeway's got a deal.
you said if Justify
Fantastic.
wins the Derby, you'd buy the entire administration of the racetrack pizza.
I'm trying to pick the right day where everybody's here.
Well,
and
12
happy.
days later, it hasn't happened.
12 days of Christmas. We'll do it. How about this Friday? If I do it this Friday, then next weekend.
He's just one off from being truthful again. just one off again.
All right. Well,
All right, we're going to be right back
Yes.
here on Emerald Downs Weekly. Maybe with pizza. I doubt it this particular time.
Gary, I got a coupon. I'll give you a coupon. Showed up in Valpak.
Coupons.
Yes.
Really? In
Yeah,
Valpak?
Valpak
All right.
coupon.
I like it.
Back here on Emerald Downs Weekly on NBC Sports Northwest. And this is one of my favorite stories. I've been looking forward to us covering this because it involves a couple of trainers here at the track who are past the age of 90, and the Seattle Times did a big story on them. 2 of our favorite trainers, and Joe, that was
Scott Hansen. who
You've
just-
known these guys for a long time.
That's right. Scott Hansen wrote the story. He's done so many great events out here. And on the left is Pat Mullins. On the right, Arturo Arboleda. Pat is holding Hit the Beach, ironically, who won on Sunday here at Emerald Downs. And Pat is 91. Arturo is 94. And, a nice story on our older trainers. By the way, 90-year-old Bob Meeking won with Trelawney on Friday night. That's Ellen Banner on the left with Arturo and Pat. She came out and shot all kinds of pictures, stayed with those fellas at many locations Friday morning. And it was her work, the pictures that you saw in the paper, and she just had a great time with the fellas. They were yucking it up a little bit, and Scott Hansen's story was in the newspaper in the sports section on Saturday morning, and you can still read it at seattletimes.com. But Arturo, 94, robust as heck. He's coming off his best season at Emerald Downs.
He won 10 races last year. He drives to work every morning. He was telling the story, he's in our mutual room usually hanging out during the day, and I always go in there and talk to him. And he used to be a boxer. Did you know that, Gary? Did you hear the story about him boxing?
I thought, did he fight in the Olympic Games one year?
I think for like the Pan American Games or something like that he was a boxer. And I asked him how he did, and he just says, not too good.
So he was a boxer, and you just automatically go to the fact that he might have fought in the Olympics.
He said that. No, he had said he was in the talk for the Olympics. Arturo has said that.
Yeah,
that he was
mentioned it.
in a qualifier or something
He
for the
fought
Olympics.
on a big stage.
Sorry for doubting you there.
Yeah.
And we have another trainer over 90, Ira Rhodes, right? He's 91. So at the Fountain of Youth here at Emerald Downs, we talk about this is a place to be. That's why you got the job here.
I'm going to put you on the spot. We're supposed to have a race for trainers, age 70 and up? We're going to have a rocking chair race.
We are looking at doing that.
Let's do it. I think that'd be
having
great.
A special race for these guys because we love seeing them out here every morning. And they put in long days. These guys aren't exactly taking it easy.
Pat himself had a health issue over the winter, has come out of that very strongly, and just a little over a year ago, Bob Meeking had 6-way bypass surgery. He's still out riding his bike around, and again, he just won a race as well. So, hey, congratulations, and keep on going to all of our horsemen here at Emerald Downs. And speaking of trainers, how about getting to know a little more closely some of our veteran horsemen here at Emerald Downs?
Probably Lady Ledoux. When she won all the stakes, she was special. She wins 6 out of 7 races, and they're all stakes.
Probably Theologist winning the Long Acres Mile. Yeah, because we went through a lot of heartache with him, a lot of schooling with him, and we all knew he could run and believed in him, and but yeah, I think the Long Acres Mile with Theologist.
Right now, Sippin' Fire is my favorite horse. There's just some kind of emotional attachment with him. I get emotional every time he works or if he runs or something. He's a really special horse, one that only comes around every once in a while,
Lafitte Lafast, many years ago, he was probably the first horse that we had that was a good horse.
Arco Iris, our broodmare at home, she's given us so many beautiful babies. And again, Salt Grinder, Flamethrowing Texan, you go right down the line. Even Arco Iris's mom, Rainbow Rider, Shoemaker rode her, and they took us all over the country. And those are the horses that you never ever forget.
My dad, absolutely. He trained horses, and I just kind of wanted to follow in his footsteps.
I think growing up, Jill's my both hero was my dad and my uncle, everything on the farm, and of course my mom for putting up with all of us. And it's hard to do one hero again.
Steve Austin was a jockey that rode at Long Acres. He gave me my first helmet when I was like 12 years old, and he was always kind of my idol, and I always wanted to be a rider, but I got a little too big, so Steve Austin.
My Jeep. I got a new Jeep. Love it.
Oh, probably a 68 Camaro or 69 Camaro.
That I enjoy cooking. We go home and enjoy different dishes and stuff that when we go out to dinner and come back and try to reproduce them. Sometimes they're better, a lot of times we never do it again.
That I came from Montana and walked hots when I was about 8 years old and been on the racetrack all my life.
I rode a few races in Yakima, and I was on like 4 horses for opening day at Long Acres, and I never made weight. I couldn't make bug weight, so then I rode in the bushes after that. But I started riding the same time Russell Bays was a bug boy, and he went to quite a few more races than I did.
Steve, pretty funny there at the end. Russell won a few more races than he did. Russell was in the 12,000s, isn't he?
12,000s.
Yeah. Well, and Kay Cooper mentioned Arco Iris as one of their favorites. She was a stakes winner here at Emerald Downs. She's also the producer of I Keep Saying, who currently holds a North American record set here on dirt, 6.5 furlongs. Hey, time for trivia. We've got a little new system for you. If you know the answer, email your answer, that is, to trivia@emeralddowns.com. Send us an email, trivia@emeralddowns.com. Phil, there's the question right there.
Yeah, who finished second in the 1978 Preakness? Who finished second? You can go look it up if you need to. And we got a great prize.
40 years
yeah,
ago.
we're gonna pull a random winner for everyone that gets it correct for a day at the races for 4 here at Emerald Downs. So send those answers in. We'll give the winner's name next week on the show.
In 1978, that was a fairly famous year in thoroughbred racing. Okay, that's our trivia. We'll have the answer next week. And again, send your answers in to trivia@emeralddowns.com. We'll be back with more here on Emerald Downs Weekly.
Sonics lost to the Bullets in the NBA World Championship that year.
And you're not eligible for the prize, Gary.
No? How about that?
Gary, I think, knows the answer to that one. I don't think he's going to be one off on that one either.
No.
How about my sister?
Emerald Downs Weekly, right here on NBC Sports Northwest. Thanks for joining us. We were having fun doing the show, looking back and looking ahead to this weekend. Once again, a big day on Sunday. First race at 2 p.m. Camels, ostriches, and zebras racing on the track with humans aboard. It's going to be a great spectacle, a lot of fun. And for families, they can get up close to these animals before the big races.
You bet, Joe. Starting Saturday morning at 11 o'clock on the south end at track level. All the animals will be out. You can bring your camera, get a picture. You can touch the camels and bring your kids out. Just make sure not to give them any beer or any food. That's the main thing. But you can get as many pictures as you want. It was a blast last year. We had a lot of families come out and get pictures and pet the camels, watch the ostriches run around. And new this year, we'll have a pen for the zebras. 4 zebras, and they're black and white.
Yeah, that's a zebra, I think.
Black and white is always right.
About
it's
that.
An old
and, you know, last year we did it for the first time with the camels and the ostriches. It was a ton of fun. Phil, that wasn't that long ago, but I think we're going to look back to 2017.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to look back for you guys that weren't here last year. This is what's in store for this Sunday. Let's take a look back at last year's camel and ostrich races.
Looks like we're ready to go now. And there go the ostriches. And Rocco Bowen on Stop Shop and O at a bad break. Flamethrowing ostrich. Oh, flamethrowing ostrich. The rider just fell out. And Stop Shop and O. And also there is Attaboy Toy, a runaway winner. Second, looks like Screech. And there are falling jockeys all over the place. There go the ostriches. Cheer on your camel. There they go. Oh, little Baki was West Seattle Camel. Come on, Matt
Dinnerman. Look at Rocco Bowen ride that camel. Rocco, keep a straight line. Rocco Bowen up. Uh-oh, going to the winner's circle. There's your winner, ladies and gentlemen. Camel 2, Harbor the Hump. Second was Captain Camel. Third was Donald Hump. And look at old Matty D go. All right, Matty, you stayed afloat. You can come back and do your job. How about a big hand, ladies and gentlemen, for the camel races today at Emerald Downs?
Now here's Matt on the GoPro. Check this out. Matt Dinnerman wearing the GoPro, guys.
Right. Well, Rocco wasn't about to lose this race after not winning the ostrich race.
What is Matt doing?
He's making jockey noises, he thinks.
Yeah?
The camel's not responding.
It was not working.
Does that Matt or is that the camel?
That's the camel. That's Matt.
He did finish the race, though.
Was it Matt's weight, or was just his lack of riding ability that kept him so far behind there?
Matt Dinnerman, who's at Golden Gate now doing the track announcing, but he watches this show, he's going to see that.
He's a gamer, Matt is.
Yeah.
He's a gamer for sure.
That was fun.
And that was Dino Mazuka on mic calling Rocco's camel out there winning that race. Dino fit in nicely as Matt decided to ride a camel. Who's riding all these animals this year?
Well, we got some jockeys. Like I said, Rocco's going to ride all 3 events. Kevin Orozco wants to ride zebra and an ostrich, and you know the rumor is Big John Parker wants to get on a camel, and we'll decide. He's in the body of the race. We have an also eligible if John doesn't get on. Rodina Barrett's going to come back and ride a camel again. Tina Birdwell will be. She's switching from a camel to ride a zebra, so we should have a bunch of jockeys and people at the racetrack. Levi Gibson's going to ride a ostrich. He's very tall. It should be fine.
Yeah.
So we have some track personnel and some of the regular jockeys, and we'll have 3 races later in the card. So make sure you get out here early. We'll set them in the back of the last few races of the card on Sunday. Okay. There'll be 1 race for each of them, and should be a fun time, right, Phil?
Yes, and Jose Zunino, who won the ostrich race, decided to retire undefeated.
That's right, he did.
A little controversy on that finish last year.
Well, he kind of fell over the finish line, but nobody else was on board at that time.
I thought he made it anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it was close.
Yeah, it was close.
We give him the W.
I did hear some controversy on that because
he was on board the longest anyway.
He was.
Ostriches, camels, and zebras at Emerald Downs. We're going to have a huge crowd on Sunday. We're going to have thoroughbred races too, Phil?
Full slate of thoroughbred races.
Of
Sunday,
course.
it's going to be fun. 2
And
p.m.
stakes race, 1 stakes race on
fact,
Sunday.
Yeah, Seattle Stakes.
We're going to do that. Preview the Seattle Stakes, our first stakes race of the year. This Sunday also at Emerald Downs, Seattle Stakes for 3-year-old fillies. So stay with us. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday racing. A lot happening at the Downs. We'll be right back here on Emerald Downs Weekly.
And no parimutuel wagering on those races.
You cannot bet on the zebras.
No, not legally. We might set a bookie on the north end.
That should get on the air, talking about bookies. Emerald Downs Weekly right here, 11 p.m. and 9 a.m., 11 p.m. Thursday night, 9 a.m. Friday morning. If you want to see the show, keep that in mind. Joe Withey, Gary Doherty, and Phil Ziegler. And Gary, you had some apropos stat for the upcoming Preakness Stakes Saturday.
Yeah, Bob Baffert's trying to tie D. Wayne Lucas with the most all-time wins in Triple Crown races. Pretty impressive. He's got 13. He'll have Justify at 1-2. Lucas has got 1 in there. But these are pretty amazing numbers to see him pass the legends of Ben A. Jones and Max Hirsch and Jim Sonny Fitzsimmons. So
Yes,
14-13.
indeed. That's something. Bob Baffert. And another thing on Baffert has won the Derby 4 previous years, and each year that Derby winner won the Preakness. So Justify's trying to make that 5 for 5. Well, we have a stakes race of our own this weekend, but hey, let's take a look at the jockey and trainer standings at Emerald Downs through 4 weekends. We looked at the jockey standings a little earlier. Rocco's doubled his competition so far, winning at 26%. And you mentioned he's won at every card so far, all 8 cards. Rocco Bowen
Almost 2 a day there.
For his 3rd consecutive Emerald Downs title. As far as the trainers, Jeff Metz has had a couple of good weeks, and he's winning at 33%. Jeff, a two-time leading trainer here, 3 better than Frank Lucarelli, who's won 5 titles at this track. Best percentage so far is Jack McCartney with those horses in from Sunland, Phil.
He's doing great. It seems like he's, well, look at that, 8 out of 11 in the money, 5 wins.
My choice for leading trainer, Howard Belvoir, 3 wins. They've all been feature races, including Barkley last Sunday. And our 2-time defending training champion, not doing badly at all, Blaine Wright, winning at 21%. He has 3 wins.
We expect Blaine Wright, right? Phil,
that's who we picked.
We got to get him going.
Yeah, that's who we picked.
And there's 4 other trainers with 3 wins. Vince Gibson, Chris Stensley, Tom Wenzel, and Neil Knapp. They also have 3 wins as well. So not to short them at all. Washington-bred leading earners for 2018. Let's take a look at that list. Psycho Sister, a daughter of Freud and Melba Jewell, bred by the Rick and Debbie Papp. She's the leading Washington-bred earner so far this year. She's won a couple of races at Golden Gate. We saw her on Derby weekend back in Kentucky, 48,000. And Psycho Sister, as we mentioned, Victor Bana and his group, Royal Match, or Thoroughbreds, they owned her until she was claimed for the high tag of 32,000 earlier this year at Golden Gate, and she's won a couple races down there. So she leads. Rio Norte's won at both Oaklawn Park and Woodbine so far this year. Wow. A son of Harbor the Gold, who broke his maiden at Emerald Downs last year for Dr. Mark DiDomenico. Judicial won a maiden special weight race at Santa Anita. Always Enough and Pistol Pack and Preacher. Also, Always Enough is back east. Those are all Washington breds, but the reason we bring that up is because these lists are going to change quite a bit as we start our great stake schedule, Phil.
Yeah, most of these horses, like you said, this is from races outside of the state, which it's great to see Washington breds doing well in other states, especially back east, California. But now that we have our race meet going and the stakes races starting, that list will change dramatically.
That's right. $50,000 stakes and higher, and all divisions get involved. Who was last year's leading Washington bred earner? Mach 1 rules, horse of the meeting. 3 stakes wins and a second in the Long Acres Mile. But the Seattle Stakes for 3-year-old fillies is this weekend, and Bella Mia figures to be the favorite. She hasn't run yet this year, but she was spectacular. She didn't win her first career start at 2, but then she won 4 straight, including 3 stakes. And here she is training recently at Emerald Downs. Blaine Wright in charge, owned by John and Janine Mariansky. Bella Mia, daughter of Harbor the Gold, a good one, a state champion. She'll be the favorite, I would guess, Gary.
Yep, you're right, Joe. Blaine Wright also won this race in 2017 and 2016. Alliford Bay in 2017 and Invested Prospect in 2016. So Blaine's trying to do 3 in a row. And as we know, Joe, history, the Seattle Handicap goes back to the early 30s, the Long Acres, and only one other trainer won this race 3 times in a row. That was Darrell Cannon in the mid to late 60s. And 50 years ago, in 1968, he won with Steel Blade, making 3 straight. The prior 2 with a horse called King's Favor. So any of you fans that go back in time, remember those names.
And of course, right, that Phil? Was the Seattle Handicap for older horses at that time. Now it's for 3-year-old fillies. Kay Cooper has Spot On in the race. Spot On is the full sister of Find Your Spot, who's a state champion by nationhood out of Sudden Departure. And Spot On won our opening day maiden special weight race very impressively. Let's hear from Kay Cooper.
She showed us a lot of potential last year, and we just knew it was going to take time to get it out of her and go from there. But you're right, she worked good going up into the race. I was glad to see the allowance race there. And Austin did a great job riding and listening to instructions. She ran a very nice race. I think she's one that's going to be universal, which is so nice because she loves to stalk and close. We've taught her that. She enjoys that and she thrives on it. But we've also put her on the lead in a couple different works, and she won't let a horse buy her. So we'll see how the race sets up and decide what kind of style she is going to have, or if she's got a style, you know, which makes it even easier for us.
I think she's a pretty good one, and Kay says she can be placed anywhere in the race. Spot on, out of sudden departure, an Emerald Down Stakes winner, as was her father, Nationhood. We said she's the full sister to Find Your Spot, and she won that race pretty easily. So I'm sure they're very excited about the Seattle Stakes this weekend, the first of our great stakes schedule.
No 18-1 this time around.
That's right, 18-1, first time out of the box for Spot On, and she'll have to beat Bella Mia and the rest as we are just getting ready for that great weekend. First race 6:30 on Friday night for a Fab Friday, live music, the Horseshoe Toss. Saturday, Preakness Pancakes at 9 a.m., the Preakness simulcast, left-handed. Little did many know Gary Doherty's left-handed.
Hey, a couple of quick corrections here. We looked it up. Secretariat's time was actually 1:53, corrected from 1:54 and 2. And Gary mentioned there might be bookies on the zebra races. That is not correct.
Is this the Gary Doherty correction?
Yes, the
segment
correction.
of the show right now?
Right. And 12 days without pizza.
Thanks for watching Emerald Downs Weekly. Hope to see you at the track.